Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chatroom applauses. History supporting local causes. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den, here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it in HDPP.
Oh, they're worth every moment, aren't they? They're great, they're great. The HDPP Singers Part 2. Hello. Oh, hello. My word, we are busy this evening. Hello. Welcome to HDPP Live Sunday night, which wouldn't be the same now. I think we've really established a great Sunday evening to be had here on good old YouTube and, of course, there on the old Facebook Malarkey list. It's great that you are with us on this very lovely evening. Haven't we had? Apparently I've got some echo. Wait a minute. Hang on. I know why. Hang on. I do know why that is. It is because of that. Sorry. Echo should go now. That was my fault. Now I don't mind admitting it. Yeah, it should go now. Yes. Now then, such a big yes. You're quite right, Daniel. We've got heck of a library here. We've got lots of rare books. All stacked about, yeah. And, yes, I'm sorry about that, yes. So, no, Carol, you're not the only one with the echo. That was me. I was using this bit of software to do something else and forgot to revert. Forgot to revert it back. So there we go. Lovely. Now, I think we are set. Great that so many of you are in the chat room as well. And we've had a busy week, of course, here at HDPP. What week isn't busy for us? We had a great social night on Wednesday night. We did miss Carol Beasley, though. We didn't miss Carol. She has an aura and a presence all of her own. And we missed it on Wednesday, but she's here. We're not worthy. We'll just bow because she's here. Anyway, now we've sorted the echo out, and let me just scroll to the top to welcome everybody. And Daniel Coburn, and thanks, Daniel, for giving me a listen on FOSS 107 this morning. That was fun. Back on Saturday morning, where on FOSS 107 we're covering the opening of the new Co-op store on the Outer Perimeter Road. Yeah, at Fairfield? Anyway, it's on the outskirts of the town. Also, Dave B is here. Hi, Dave. I had to question your picture earlier on, but yes, you are quite right. That's fine, with your picture about Stony Stanton. And David, I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at that thread since. A lady has been on there and said she has got the letters from the signal box, Stony Stanton sidings. I said, we'd love to see that. Have a look at the thread, mate. That's brilliant. Anyway, lovely to see Pat and Elaine at the meeting on Wednesday as well. How fantastic. Great. I was really, really pleased to see you guys. I really was. And everybody else that came along. Kevin Beasley was there. Kevin, well done. Glad you could make it. Paul Glover's with us tonight. Blimey, Paul, we're not worthy. Blimey. I must have paid. All the checks must have gone through. They must have done as well. Jeff and Anna, they're here in Brig. Got a confession to make in a moment, guys. Jennifer's here. Hi, Jennifer. Hope you're having a good evening. And David Allen, all the way from Boston in Lincolnshire, of course. And Kit's here as well. My word, it was a busy night on Wednesday, actually, but it was a good night too. Russett's here as well, because Russett couldn't make it either. But don't worry, we put all those that couldn't make it, we put them all through their mill, yeah, anyway. We always do that. It's good fun. And but Carol did say she did miss being there, but Cardiff was interesting too, in Doctor Who country. Absolutely. Brilliant. And Kath Denny's here, and I was really pleased to see Kath Denny here, and I thought, oh, Kath's here. That'll mean the book's done. Anyway, moving on. I've started again, I know. But John Denny is here tonight, as you can see. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Denny. David Starnborough's here. We always know when the Starnboroughs are in, we're fine as well. Dangerous Den, here again, of course. And also David S. is here. And, oh, yes, and like I said, then we'll go on all about my echoes and stuff. But we've sorted all that out now. Also, as I say, just scrolling down. Oh, Mary Blake's made it as well. Well done, Mary. Dennis said, I was home to see Mick Dunkley on Wednesday, but I blinked and I missed him. He didn't stay long, although I did notice a lot of us were tripping up the leash that he'd brought all the way into the pub and sat in the corner with. Did you notice that, Dennis? Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. So once again, thanks for joining us this evening. In tonight's programme, well, we're off to Barwelton, or off to Barrel, and a slightly different thing. We've got noses, not one but two, but they're little noses. They can't believe they're not noses, with Steve Picker as well. We've got lots of things to do there, so brilliant stuff. As I say, for those of you that joined me this morning on FOSS 107, thank you. It's very kind of you. And like I say, I'll be there next Saturday morning. I think it's 8 till midday next week, so you haven't got rid of me yet. Anyway, Kath Denny says, anyway, we're doing the locks on the canal and tunnels for a week. All right, well, there's plenty of room to get your book done then. And all those dark tunnels. What more can I say? And I hope you like my library behind me. Some rare books there, you know. Absolutely there is. And I'm still recovering from my little cough. For those of you that don't know, and I won't go into massive detail, but I got this awful cough. And it started with a tickle, went into a nasty, racking, awful cough. You know those sort of coughs that really do your rib cage in and your diaphragm and all that, and it really did knock me about for a little while actually, but hopefully that's all done. I hope so anyway. And but every now and again I do have a little cough just there, so I am prepared with my water this evening. Oh look, no top to the glass. How does that work? It's a bit scary, isn't it? Right. What's that, Jan? Oh yeah, I've spotted the space for John's book. I'm saying nothing yet. I'm waiting to see if anybody else spots it too. Right, okay then. We've got 6 of the best tonight, of course. So we better get on with that first. Now, I do have a little bit of a confession to make. And that is, I can't remember whether I did the anagram or not. This is going to be fun. And we'll all find out together in a few moments' time, okay? Because just can't remember because my head's all been mixed up, what with this cough and other things going. So let's see if we've actually done that. We will find out shortly. Hi to Clive Armstrong as well. So, yes, let us go then into 6 of the best. So, I wonder if I've done an anagram. I think I did. And if I did, I can't remember what the blooming hell it was. But however, we'll all find out together. So, question 1. Now, as you know, please don't put your answer in the chat room because people nick it and claim it as their own. So your local knowledge question this week, we want to know what year did Captain Shenton hide up his tree in Ashby Road? We've all heard of Captain Shenton's tree. And I'm sure you don't spell captain like that. Do you spell captain like that, Mrs. G? I don't think that doesn't look right to me. Excuse me, my cough again. But anyway, what year did Captain Shenton, that looks Captain, what year did he hide up the tree? 1646, 1655 or 1666? One of those is the correct answer, okay? On to, by the way, where's Queen Bee tonight? Do you think she's nodded off? Probably. Somebody give Queen Bee a ring, would they, please? General knowledge question. Now, this was a good one. How many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? I had to go and look this up in the end to be sure. So that is your general knowledge. Just letting you have a look at that. Okay. Oh, look. And Kath Dennis said, I've spotted where John's book should be. We'll look at that in a moment. Okay. Moving on. True or false, Cinderella was the first Disney princess? True or false? Interesting stuff, that. Question number 4. Guess the year. This was the year it became compulsory to wear seatbelts in the UK. And Michael Jackson was at number 1 with Billie Jean. But what was the year? We'll find out all together by the end of the programme. Okay then. On to question 5. Pretty easy this week. Where am I? In Hinckley. Where am I? I think, in fact, now looking at it, it is far, far too easy. I should have cropped the picture a bit more. But however, that's where I am. Can you tell me where in Hinckley I am? Once again, easy peasy. I've made it so easy this week. And now, let me see if I can remember what this anagram was. No, I ain't got the slightest idea. Oh, excuse me. This blasted cough. Anyway, anagram question is, Charlton hyperlinks witcheries. I wish I could remember. Excuse me for coughing. Because I did it in a rush, actually, and my bit of paper, which I'd wrote it down on, appears to have left my desk. So at the minute, I'm going to leave that there and see if you can solve the anagram before we can. Mrs. G is actually writing that down now, and she'll see what it comes up with. You know, I haven't got a foggiest clue. Charlton hyperlinks witcheries. See what you can come up local with that. I do apologise because normally, obviously, I do know, but I can't find my notes at all around here this evening. So I don't know why that is. I haven't got the foggiest idea. So you tell me what the anagram question is, and I'll tell you if it's right. Because I don't know myself yet, but I know when I see it. Hopefully it'll come back to me in a few minutes' time. Good. So that's your 6 of the best. Let's give you a quick recap. What year did Captain Shenton hide up his tree on Ashby Road? That is question number 1. Question 2. How many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? Question 3. True or false, Cinderella was the first Disney princess? True or false? Question 4. Guess the year. It became compulsory to wear seatbelts in the UK this year, and also Michael Jackson was at number 1 with Billie Jean. Oh, good evening, Queen Bee. We knew you'd get here eventually. Press the button but forgot to press the key. Fine. Question 5, where am I in Hinckley? Bit easy tonight, actually, I think. The more I looked at it, I thought, well, anybody that doesn't get that has obviously been walking around with their eyes shut around the town. Now, help me on the anagram question. I can't believe this. Charlton hyperlinks witcheries. Well, it's obviously something local, but I couldn't tell you what the heck it is. I've forgotten. And I'm going to have a think about that while we have our first feature in just a few moments' time. So we'll see what I can work out, and then I might be able to give you some clues. Oh, I know. Okay, then, so that's 6 of the best this evening. Thank you, Kath. She said, I've noticed where John's book should be. Don't know what you're talking about. Maybe, I don't know. Is it? What? I don't know. There we go. Let's just see what happens. So I thought today we could have a look. Oh, by the way, before I move on, I've just remembered, ladies and gentlemen, remember last week we got eggs in the HDPP blue tits. Well, the latest pictures are in. We have chicks, and here they are. And poor old mum has been running around like mad. She doesn't appear to have a partner, so she's a very modern day bird. And as you can see here, we think we've counted 7, maybe 8 chicks. We had 9. We had 9 eggs, but we haven't counted 9 chicks, so we think we probably haven't all done. But look at these. And each week I will give you an update, because when you see them next week, they'll be bigger still. And they are a rowdy little lot too, but their mum is working so hard to feed them, because normally Dad helps as well. There isn't a dad on the scene from what we can see. So there we go. The HDPP Blue Tits live. Okay then. So I've promised you a little bit of Barwell tonight. So what we're going to do, we're going to go halfway through this. We will pause it. We'll have the questions again. Then we'll have part 2 before we have our 2 short noses tonight. Plenty of stuff that's happening this evening. So sit back. I'm glad you're here. Now then, that anagram, I wonder where it is. Actually, come to think of it, it'd be nice if this film would start as well, but it's not going to start. We have the Gremlins, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder why that is. I don't know. So why I'm trying to sort this out, and I will try my utmost to sort this little problem out. Why is that not playing, Paul? That's what I want to know. It should be playing perfectly by now, but it ain't. And I don't know what's going to happen. What can I play instead? I tell you what, while I'm trying to sort that out, we better do a nosy, I think, because at the moment, that is just not playing, which is a bit strange. Normally, actually, if I press this button, it might happen. Here we go.
Hello, my name's Carol Charlton. Welcome to Barwell, a village in southwest Leicestershire. It was in existence prior to Doomsday and has witnessed many changes. Following the decline of the knitting industry, the boot and shoe trade emerged to transform the village into a thriving manufacturing area, lifting the inhabitants out of abject poverty. From the centre of the village, known as Top Town, we travel up Chiltern Road for about half a mile towards Leicester and start our journey at the Cedars. A 1960s postcard showing the Cedars on Chiltern Road, the former home of Barwell businessman and George Ward, who also owned many footwear factories in the village. In 1946, George Ward gave the house and gardens as a gift to the people of Barwell to be used for the benefit of the community. In early 2000, the buildings and the land were sold by the council, with the proceeds going towards a brand new community facility nearer the centre of the village. Not unnaturally, it's called the George Ward Centre. In place of the Cedars today, we find Ward Close, a gated community of private housing. Joining me on our journey is Rosemary Coe, also a member of our heritage group.
Down towards Top Town from the Cedars, we find Red Hall Drive. This was once the entrance to the Red Hall, a mansion house commanding spectacular views over the Leicestershire countryside towards Rugby. Across the road from Red Hall Drive we find Lyndhurst, the property that George Ward bought after he left the Cedars. Moving further down Shilton Road, an area known at one time, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, as Robbers Row, being the residences of many of the local manufacturers. This now brings us to Hill Street, once a mixed development of private houses and the site of a large factory. This was originally owned by the Ney brothers, who spent some time in Welford Road Prison for non-payment of taxes. George Ward then purchased the factory and secured employment for the workforce. In the distance we catch a glimpse of St Catherine's Church, Burbage.
But George Ward's footwear factory eventually turned over to knitwear, but was demolished in the 1990s. Knitters Close is now a private housing development, the name of the road being a tribute to the industry which once stood there. The next junction we come to is Queen Street. A private house on the corner is now a dentist's premises. On the opposite side of Queen Street we find the ivy-coloured house. Note the angle of the front door. This was once a grocer's, and if the ivy were to be cut away, remnants of the advertising sign might just be visible. On the opposite side of the street, a number of terrace houses line Shilton Road, as can be seen in this picture. There, still today, on closer inspection on the wall of number 65, a relic of the Second World War can still be seen. This sign indicates that a stirrup pump was kept in the house for the purpose of dousing fire caused by incendiary bombs. Most of the houses were built as private homes and bear names together with the year of construction. The further from Top Town, the newer the buildings.
A popular form of entertainment was a night at the cinema, and Barwell had its own in this building nearly opposite King Street. The neighbouring village of Earl Shilton also had a cinema, both being owned by the Cooper family. Each cinema would show the same films, but in reverse order. During the interval, two cyclists would meet midway between the villages and exchange films. It remained until the mid-1960s, and when it closed, it became a furniture and bedding shop, and later, Roger Fawkes's domestic appliance shop. The cinema was demolished and two brand new houses were built. You can just see the outline of the old cinema on the wall of the adjoining house. The old cinema stood next to the former Moulds and Moore shoe factory. It was later bought by local businessman Harold Slim, who made waterproof clothing for retail and the military. When he redeveloped the whole building into apartments, he retained some of the original features, like the second-floor bay window.
Just before we head to Top Town, it's worth taking a look at the opposite side of the road. King Street itself is mainly industrial, with many former footwear factories, including Hodgkins and Powers, George Ward's, Harvey and Harvey, Blumell's and Amos Moore's, and now small industrial premises take their places. On the afternoon of the 29th of December 2012, a pall of smoke could be seen rising above Barwell. The old shoe factory of Bluemells, which was at the time being used by Ardent Marketing as a distribution centre for holiday brochures and commercial leaflets, was well and truly ablaze. These pictures show the last hours of the factory, which had to be completely demolished. During the heydays of the boot and shoe industry, small general shops flourished among the factories. On the corner of King Street are the offices of the local plumbing company, Bores of Barwell. In previous times it sold cycles, and then wireless sets. Later it became a model shop.
One building though stands out from the rest. It's the village's former primitive Methodist chapel, once a thriving place of worship. After standing empty for a number of years, it was eventually sold and converted into flats. Sometime later, the flats became derelict. The building suffered a serious fire in the late 1990s and was left to deteriorate. About 10 years later, it was redeveloped again and is now self-contained flats. Just off Shilton Road, we catch a glimpse of a former cottage industry, now renamed Chapel Mews. Just down from Chapel Mews, a row of terraced houses still retain some of the original clay relief decoration, a testament to the skill of the Victorian builders. On the opposite side of the road is East Green, the only one-way system in the village, where some of the oldest cottages are to be found. At the junction of East Green and Shilton Road stands a property formerly lived in by Mr. Lockley, a carpenter and joiner whose workshop adjoined the house. Next to this is a dwelling which would have been the barn and hayloft belonging to Mr. Lockley. Moving on down East Green to the cottages, the 1861 census tells us that the Botterill family occupied one of these dwellings.
Emerging onto Kirkby Road, formerly known as Brocky Road, is a large building, previously occupied by Bostock and Barsby, coach builders and funeral directors. In the pavement outside this garage there used to be a mould for putting metal rims on cartwheels. This was done by placing a strip of hot metal around the wooden frame whilst in the mould, and then doused with cold water to shrink the metal to fit, resulting in clouds of steam. The upstairs of this building on the corner with Stapleton Lane was the original Barwell office of the Earl Shilton Building Society, formed in 1857 and still remains a mutual society. The ground floor was occupied by Kellaway's, a general grocer and confectioners. The building is now sadly neglected. On the opposite corner is Bank Terrace, which used to be known as Mare's Gap. A block of modern apartments now stands on the site, which for many decades was occupied by Ron Moore and his family, who ran a shoe warehouse adjacent to his property, selling factory seconds. The walls were lined floor to ceiling with many a bargain. That's if you could find a matching pair.
We begin our tour of Top Town, the hub of the village, with a photograph of the old blacksmith shop. Following the First World War, a memorial to the fallen was erected in the centre of Top Town and unveiled on the 31st of December 1922. The memorial remained as the focal point of the village until November 1969, when it was moved stone by stone and re-erected at St Mary's Parish Church. The blacksmith shop became a public house, not surprisingly called the Blacksmith's Arms. Being in the centre of the village, the building would have witnessed many public gatherings and parades, from the coronation of George V on June 2nd, 1911, to the celebrations of 2012. These marked the London Olympics and the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Today's modern parades take the form of carnivals, which still bring the crowds out onto Top Town and the surrounding streets. Over the years, the amount of floats has reduced as a result of factory closures. Looking around Top Town, the street scene has changed little, and apart from the centre of the row, the buildings are still original, although businesses have changed over the years. The end building, originally Freer's Shoe Shop, shows the progress from Westminster Bank through to the merger with the National Provincial and finally becoming the National Westminster. It is now a Chinese takeaway. The shop behind the memorial was Mr. and Mrs. Godfrey's greengrocers, fruit and confectionery store. It's also been businesses varying from a cycle shop to a bakery and a cafe. The Earl Shildon Building Society has occupied the same position for decades. The clock was erected in 1953 to commemorate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II.
Looking to the other side of Top Town, we can clearly see Ronmore's house and shoe warehouse at the top of Stapleton Lane. Crossing over Bank Terrace, a shop, originally a fish and chip shop, then became Holloway's garden and fishing tackle shop. The tall building was occupied by the British United Shoe Machinery Company, which was owned by Charles Benyon, who gave Bradgate Park to the people of Leicestershire. This company rented and serviced machinery to the local boot and shoe industry. Next door stands the fish and chip shop, a landmark on Top Town. This modern scene shows a none too attractive 1960s style co-op building with flats above. Behind the fish and chip shop stood an imposing building known as the Liberal Club, which possibly replaced an earlier one further down the high street. The club hosted many functions and was very popular with dancers of all ages, from the free and easies for families to the Thursday night tanner hop for teenagers. A tanner was slang for 6 old pence. This was the price of admission, equivalent to 2.5 pence today. The club was demolished in the 1990s and replaced by Saffron Village, a residential care home and sheltered accommodation.
This modern view was taken from the top of the Co-op building looking towards Chapel Street. Down at ground level, our first glimpse of Top's Wine Bar on the left, which was formerly Carnell's Drapery. This scene catches part of the procession of the Sunday school treats and shows the style of dress in the 1950s. This is the older shot of the Chapel Street village pump outside the blacksmith's shop, which supplied residents with clean water. The Wesleyan Chapel is situated further along the street. The shops here were yet more co-op buildings. This is the site occupied for many years by Wright's Radio and Electrical Shop. On the opposite side of the road stood a row of cottages, now replaced by a modern development of shops and flats. The Wesleyan chapel, seen in the earlier shot, was demolished and modern built church and rooms erected in its place.
The Constitutional Club was converted from a row of terraced houses with a modern extension and has hosted many top-class performers. Further down Chapel Street, we come to yet another public house, the Cross Keys. Nestling in its shadow were many rows of terraced houses, several of which contain a variety of small shops. These included a butcher's, bakery, blacksmiths and general stores. Further down Chapel Street and past Queen Street, the narrow road opens out and leads towards the Common. This area was once known as the Marl Place. This name comes from the type of soil which could be extracted.
Right, okay then, so what we're doing now, we're going to give you a little break from that, and I'm going to try and get it loaded in for part 2 in just a moment. But how are you doing with the anagram? We need help this evening. We've got a Scrabble set out at the minute, and Sue is trying to work out with the letters given what we can get. We think Hinckley's in it. That's about all I can tell you at the moment. So let's go through 6 of the best and go over it all one more time for you this evening. I love it. Don't you just love a live stream? You just don't know what is going to happen. Right, here we go though. So 6 of the best with an anagram none of us know the answer to at the minute. Brilliant. Right, local knowledge. What year did Captain Shenton hide up his tree on Ashby Road? Was it 1646, 1655 or 1666? One of those is, of course, the correct answer. Okay then, in general knowledge, such as question number 2, how many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? John Denny reckons he's nearly got the anagram. John, we might take, if you get it, we might let you off a night of ribbing about your book. However, so that the challenge is there. Okay then, so question number 3. Cinderella was the first Disney princess. True or false? I'll leave that for you to decide on that one. And guess the year. It became compulsory to wear seatbelts in the UK. And Michael Jackson was at number 1 with Billie Jean. But what was the year? Okay. Where am I? Very, very easy, to be totally honest, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I can't even believe why I put that in there. I should have cropped the picture a lot more to make it harder. But there you go. It is what it is. I had a busy week. Listen, I've not been well. Question 5, there's where am I? And this is where we really do genuinely need your help with the anagram. Charlton hyperlinks witcheries. Now, basically, as I say, I created this up the other day because I use a computer program to do all our anagrams, but silly me didn't write what I put in the anagram generator in the first place. Now I'm pretty sure to say Hinckley's in there somewhere, so that's all I can give you. But now normally we do go for pubs normally, but I honestly can't remember what I put. It's an age thing, you know. So I want your help. Can you tell me what my anagram is? Now, John Denny says, I just need a word with H, H, C, R, P, S, I and W in. I wish I knew what it were. This is very embarrassing. But listen, it's live, so we'll have to see what happens. So there you go. That is your that is your 6 of the best this evening. Now, what I've got to try and do, if I possibly can, is get back to our little film that was going there with Barwell, and I think we're going to be able to do it pretty well, you'll be pleased to know. So we're going to have part 2 of Barwell. Coming back then, we've got 2 short noses. Wow, looking forward to that. Let me see. I'm going to see if actually just about get where we were a few moments ago. Yes, I think we could start from here. Here we go, back to Barwell.
London House in the 1960s was Coley's Emporium, a hardware shop where if they didn't sell it, you didn't need it. Then it became Dave Luck's Sports, and electrical wholesalers, and then Cheeky Charlie's, a tea room by day and Aldo's pizza parlour by night. Another view back up the high street towards Top Town. Note the double curb on the left-hand side. Between LK Hare and the main co-op building is a newer building which replaced 2 cottages, 14 to 16 High Street, with a double shop front owned by Mrs. Freyson. Number 14 was a high-class confectioner's, while the adjacent premises was a music shop selling instruments and sheet music. In later years this extension was used by an optician. LK Hare has been occupied by a hairdressing business for some years. Prior to that it was Places, mainly selling baby wear. Next door, Liverpool House, was occupied for many years by the Kitson family, who were traditional gentlemen's barbers and tobacconists, established in 1891. Following the closure of this business, the shop became a general store, owned and run by Jim Geary, who eventually sold to new owners, carrying on the same trade.
Staniforth, a name synonymous with the High Street, has stood for decades and has changed little over the years. It was once a cycle shop and repair service and still sells cycle spares today. The adjacent shop has also been in existence for many years. Apart from selling greeting cards, it also provided a library service where books could be borrowed for a few pence. This large house on the corner of Stanley Street was Dr. Cook's surgery. Birches of Barwell, another name synonymous with the High Street, sold high-class furniture. Demolished in the late 1980s and was replaced by modern apartments. On the opposite corner of the barracks stood Lockley's grocer shop, which was one of the first establishments to introduce self-service. The business was sold and survived as a grocery shop for a few years before becoming a co-op chemist. On the opposite side of the High Street, 2 properties, originally called Gladstone Villa and Primrose Villa, later became shops owned by F.E. Co., one being a wool shop and the other being a ladies' outfitters. A hairdressing salon was above. Over the years these properties became independent chemists. The co-op bought the business and continued to operate it before moving across the road into Lockley's shop. The shops were then split into 2 units, one becoming a cafe and the other eventually becoming a florist. Specialise, obviously, an optician's. In earlier years it was J. Dawes and Sons, local plumbers who occupied the premises, selling wallpaper and paint. In later years it was owned by Joanne Congdon, who made celebration cakes and ran courses in cake decoration. Further down the High Street is the village post office, which has been in the same position for decades. To the left of the post office is Fox Hair Design. The building was occupied by a bank for many years, later taken over by Birches of Barwell for storage.
To the right of the post office is the gasworks. It was once a celebrated jewellers run by Mr. and Mrs. Bolesworth. Two further shops after the archway cater for the hungry residents of Barwell. The first is a Chinese takeaway. The second, once a laundrette and then a general store, is now an Indian takeaway. After a gated drive, which once led into a farmyard, stands what was once the farmhouse. Now a private dwelling, the large ground floor windows are the remnants of a cafeteria which once occupied a part of this large property. A nostalgic view of the High Street. Very little has changed.
This shot gives a tantalising view of the Queen's Head in its black and white form, which has now been restored to its former glory. The stone which was used by riders to mount their horses is clearly visible. In the early days, the directors of Earl Shilton Building Society held some of their board meetings in the Queen's Head. As can be seen in this early picture, the Queen's Head originally had a thatched roof. The picture shows a number of women, one of whom was most likely the landlady. This was common practice in licensed trade, as it was deemed that women were more able to deal with the unruly customers. Opposite the Queen's Head, a view of Barwell Church of England Academy. The headmaster used to live in the house on the left of the school.
The building adjacent to the Church Institute, now the Village Hall, consisted of a dwelling and a shop which sold pet food and animal feed, and has since been demolished to make way for Blackburn Road and the Fairacre estate. The name Fairacre was chosen in recognition of the annual fair, which came to celebrate the patronal festival of the village church dedicated to St Mary the Virgin. Very close to this building was an impoverished area known locally as the Dilly. Barwell residents were well served by three banks. The Midland Bank, situated at the bottom of the High Street, is now a private house. On the corner of the High Street and Church Lane stood the Manor House, occupied by the Powers family. Mr. Power was an influential member of the community, farmer, landowner and councillor. He was probably one of the first landowners to use steam-powered machinery on his land. In this image of the High Street, looking towards Top Town, the buildings on the right are the cowsheds belonging to the Manor House. After the demolition of the Manor House and adjacent cowsheds, a residential home for the elderly was erected on the site. It was named Harvey House in honour of a local family of boot and shoe manufacturers.
In this bygone shot of Church Lane can be seen a glimpse of the original rectory, an imposing building with tall chimneys, seen here from the rear. Another view shows the proximity of the rectory to the church. In front of the original rectory boundary wall stands the war memorial. The village church dedicated to St Mary stands in an elevated position and was erected in the 13th century. On the opposite side of the road to the residential home stands what was the Three Crowns, a former public house now converted to a private house. The row of houses known as Cooperative Terrace has changed little. Shops belonging to the Barwell and District Cooperative Society were plentiful in the village. Unlike the present day, it was possible to buy everything you needed from the cradle to the grave. For example, in this picture it shows that it was possible to buy your weekly groceries and purchase a new hat and some underwear from the shop next door. As can be seen from this picture, the buildings have not really changed except for the frontages. In the late 1980s, the grocery shop had become a general hardware store and the drapery had become a carpet shop. The rooms above were converted into a snooker hall. And as it is today, the ground floor is an Indian restaurant and takeaway. Carpet Cottage has given away to a motorcycle shop, and Pocket Snooker Hall has been renamed Rafters.
Above these premises was the Co-op Hall, the venue for dances and wedding receptions. To the rear of the building, the Co-op owned their own abattoir, which provided locally sourced meat to be sold in the Co-op butchers' shops, and there was also a bakery. The Co-op also owned a fleet of lorries to transport the goods. On the opposite side of the high street used to be a continual row of cottages, some now demolished. The shop in this photograph is now a general store come off licence. It has been a commercial premises as early as 1840, when it was known as the Swan and sold alcohol. At some point it was also a fish and chip shop. Beyond the shop is an intriguing set of buildings. A look through the archway reveals workshops. At one time they were used by an undertaker for the manufacture of coffins. The high archway accommodated the passage of a horse-drawn bier.
On the corner of Barwell Lane, which was the original main road to Hinckley, stood a shop owned by Fred Wright and was used as an electrical workshop to service his main shop in Chapel Street. The original building was converted into a dwelling. The farm buildings, which stood just inside Barwell Lane, have also been tastefully converted into homes. On the opposite corner, the ever-popular Red Lion, a pub since at least 1840, the beginning of Mill Street. This view from the opposite direction shows the original Red Lion building with Ivins Farm in the background. Although the cottages adjacent to the Red Lion have been replaced by more modern houses, the following three houses remain. One of them is now occupied by Silhouette's hair salon.
Mill Street takes its name from the windmill, which was situated in a field on the site which is now referred to as the Waterfall Estate. The windmill was demolished prior to the First World War. This view of Mill Street shows a row of cottages, which have since been demolished to make way for the site of Mill Street Motors. The cars nestling under the canopy occupy the area once dominated by petrol pumps. The gardens in the foreground are now the forecourt of a tyre company. The premises of Emily Blinds was previously occupied by a shoe manufacturing company. Although some of the cottages remain, the gardens have made way for parking spaces.
Looking farther down Mill Street on the left-hand side of the road is a shop now occupied by Armstrong Electrical Installations. Previously this shop was an off-licence and general store. This building was once the premises of photographer Mr. Tippler. Part of the site was used by a company which produced labels. Another row of cottages long ago. They were demolished to make way for Moat Way Industrial Estate, named after an old moat site. This industrial estate now provides employment for many local people.
Barwell has a very rich history, of which this is a part. Should you be interested in learning more about the village, please contact Barwell Bits and Shilton Snips Heritage Group on 01455 846 483. We hope you have enjoyed reminiscing, and thank you for watching.
And there we are, bit of a go round Barwell or Barrel. So there we go. Now listen, we have been racking our brains while that film has been going. Sue and I have been going mad, trying to work out what the anagram is. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we're going to get it. And this was all because I was rushed the other day. And like I said, I forgot to write it down. Obviously, it was a good idea at the time. Just didn't write the answer. Yeah, I didn't write it down, and consequently, I forgot about it. And then tonight, I thought, oh, do you know, I can't remember what the anagram were. So there we go. So if anybody gets anything near to it, we'd be interested. But we think Hinckley's in it. And that's about all. Hope you enjoyed that one. Barwell, we haven't shown that one for a while. But we'll, of course, be doing Ill Shilton in a few weeks' time and do the usual rounds. And then there you go. Jeff Wallace said, well, Paul, why can't it be our homework for next week? That's a good idea, Mrs. G. We've all got a week to work out the anagram. That's a good... Now, what I would like you to do is all bring your homework back next Sunday. I like it, Jeff. People are going to hate you. That'd be good. So yeah, let's see how we go. And likewise, if Sue and I can crack it in the meantime, but it's not looking very good, I will post on the group to say what it were. But I do apologise wholeheartedly. I do apologise because ding, gone. There you go. David Starnborough says, very interesting film, Paul. We lived in Barwell for 52 years. And it doesn't seem a day too long. Okay then, David, happy times in Barwell. So there we have it. Okay, listen, we've got 2 short noses to do tonight. And just for the heck of it, I think we ought to go through 6 of the best. And today, like I say, you can't answer the anagram, which is fair dues, because of this silly face getting it all wrong. But let's go through for the very last time our 6 of the best. Let's see how many can get at least 5 out of 6, and we'll award it as 6 out of 6 if you get it right, which I'm sure you will. Question 1, what year did Captain Shenton hide up his tree on Ashby Road? Question 2, how many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? Question 3, true or false, Cinderella was the first Disney princess? Question 4, it became compulsory to wear seatbelts in the UK this year, and Michael Jackson was at number 1 with Billie Jean. Okay, now then, where am I? Oh, Jennifer, remember, don't put your answers in there because people will nick your answer if it could be right. Oops. We'll let you off, Jennifer. Where am I in Hinckley? And the unfathomable anagram. Charlton hyperlinks witcheries. If only we knew what it meant. If only we knew. But we don't. So don't worry your head. But however, according to this, Carol, Alan Reckney got it, but he was teasing. Unless he's messaging you and whatever, I don't think he is. But Alan, if you have got it, but I don't think you have, let us know. Put us out of our misery. We're all going to be lying awake tonight in bed trying to sort out this blooming anagram. Okay. Right, lovely. Let's have our first noser. We're going to have a noser tonight, but these are short noses, so that I think they'll last between 6 and 10 minutes. So I thought we'd do 2 together, so you could sit back and enjoy that. So with no further ado, here he comes, Mr. Steve Picker himself.
Hello, hey up and hey diddly. My name is Stephen. Once again, it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right, as you can see, I'm sticking my beak in again, and I'm sticking everything in by the looks of it, because look, as you can see, you're thinking, oh, he's in a culvert, and I'm not in a culvert. I'm in a famous local landmark, and I'm going to show you what it looks like from inside, looking up. So let's go in here. Delighted Dave's somewhere about. Right, so as you can see, we've just entered this chimney just there. And if we pan the camera around, I've not actually brought my torch, but what's quite exciting, you've got this tunnel here. So this has actually been blocked off with this steel or iron or whatever it is that they've put in front of it. There's an interesting mark there, look, can you see that? Yeah, a bit of a groove there, and then this circle. That's interesting, but look at this. You ready for it? It's pretty good, isn't it? Nice chimney, that. Great local landmark as well. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that mini nosy. Fantastic, and guess what? Here he is, look.
It's Saturday evening. We've just heard dogs barking, so...
Yeah, it could be security. They sounded like German Shepherds, didn't they?
Yeah, so we're a bit on edge at the minute, but hey...
I think we've got to get out of here, David.
Yeah.
We've actually been... I had delusions of grandeur, as per usual. But it's not going to happen tonight now, is it? But we're going to expose some tramway and hopefully put an old tub, wagon, whatever you want to call it, back on it. That's the plan, but
It was going to be a 5-minute job, according to Steve.
Well, yeah, well, I didn't quite say 5 minutes though, did I, David? Anyway, We're keeping his voices down because we do not know who is over there. But yeah, there you go, folks.
So we're going to get out of there.
I'm not going to say what chimney it is.
It's a bigger.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. You all know it if you live in Leicestershire, a certain part of Leicestershire. It's good though, isn't it, Dave? How high would you say that is?
I don't know, I started to count it.
90 foot?
Oh, at least.
90 foot, 100 foot?
Yeah, pin straight as well.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
When do we think this was built?
1900s.
1900.
Yeah, 1910, 1920 time.
Fred Dibner would have been proud of this.
Oh, he'd have loved it. I'm surprised I wonder if it's listed, that's why they knocked it down.
Yeah, if he didn't have anything to do with it, you don't know, do you?
But that's where I've just got in it down there, look. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, David, we've got to go because we've got to be up dead early in the morning.
Yeah, another explore. It's going to be a scorcher of a day.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so while you lot are enjoying the sun, we're going to be enjoying something slightly different.
Well, yeah.
We're not saying what.
And it ain't a few pina coladas on the beach, is it?
No, so let's go.
Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this little video. Hope you enjoyed that and got something from it. And me and Delighted Dave and whoever else is with us tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. And that will probably come out tomorrow evening, that video. So, see you later. Tomorrow will be Sunday night. Later's right. Come on, let's go before Rover comes down. Oh, I can't believe it's not nosy. Can you? Hello, hey up and hey diddling. My name is Steve and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right then, we've got one of them little videos for you this evening that I like to call I Can't Believe It's Not Nosy. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not a very long video, but what there is to show you and to tell you about in this video, I think it's a blockbuster. It's something that I only found out about this week. Now, this road here, this is Melbourne Road on the outskirts of the village of Newbold in northwest Leicestershire. And what I want to show you is just down there. Got a humpback bridge there that the old Midland Railway used to go underneath back in the day. Now, last year, about a year ago, I made a video down here just off this road, you know. And I walked up there, up that road. I'm just going to go in this bit of woodland here out the way of the traffic noise. And I walked up that road and there was this piece of steel sticking up at the side of the road. And I thought, what's that then? It don't look like it's part of a fence. Anyway, I got rid of it, got it out of my mind and carried on with my nosy, forgot all about it. And then, just recently, after doing a bit of research into, I think it was the last 20-25 minute video that I did up at Newbold near the old brickworks there, I did a bit of research. I seen a photo of it on Google Images, this thing, and it told me what it was and I couldn't believe it. I was amazed. Let's go and find it. This might interest you or bore you to death, but I hope it's the first, not the latter. Right, so what we're looking for is just up here on the right. Now, there would have been one of these things on the opposite side. Hopefully that is still there, but I don't know because of what they are. There will be two of them. There's at least one of them left anyway. Oh Christ! We don't want to get cleaned up, do we? Right, here it is. Right, look at that there. You're thinking, what? Well, I'm showing you this. Look, this here has got an incredible story to tell. And it's an amazing piece of Leicestershire history, this piece of steel is here. Now, just look at it from a distance a little bit. What do you reckon that is? Is there one across the road? Yes, there is, just there. Well, right then, I'll cut to the chase. That is a tank trap. And you're thinking to yourself, a tank trap? What, you mean like war tanks, Steve? Yeah, exactly that. This was put here by the Home Guard in around about 1940, 1941. Now, there would have been really strong steel cables attached to this one, stretching across the road to the other one. And of course, they were concerned the Germans would invade and, you know, tanks would approach in this direction. And what they'd do, they'd have cables set up here ready, spanning right across the road to the other side. And apparently these cables were really powerful and these could hold really fast here in place. And what they'd do, they'd trap the tanks for a while, meaning that the Home Guard could emerge probably from that direction there. I think they might have had something to do with Lount Colliery, you know, the actual Home Guard. Might have been miners, you know. I'd imagine there would have been, to be honest with you. And if a tank had got caught here at this point in the road, can you imagine that just here? Then the Home Guard could have got from wherever they were stationed and destroyed the tank. Ain't that amazing? What an amazing piece of history that is. And I knew about this recently only by accident, as I've probably already told you. That is amazing that it still stands there. Rusting away a little bit now, but what a piece of local history that is. And if you travel on this road in a regular basis, just before you get to that bridge there, look, and that's where the old Midland Railway, Melbourne branch, Ashby to Derby Railway, built in 1868, used to go under there. Amazing. Can't get over that. Right, let's just go and check this one out on the other side, because I never actually looked last time I was down here at this because I didn't know what they were, so. But yeah, that is extraordinary. Do you know what? There should be, in my opinion, some sort of blue plaque down here somewhere, you know, like a post putting up at the side of the road or something to remember these, because these really are amazing pieces of local history, in my opinion. I mean, a tank trap. That is amazing. I mean, look at that. Can you imagine? Imagine that cable spanning across the road there. Amazing. Right, we've come to the end of that little I can't believe it's not nosy. I hope you enjoyed that and hopefully got something from it because, you know, for me, that's an extraordinary piece of local history, that is. You know, a tank trap. Who'd have thought it? There's always one, Artolamio! Trying to spoil your fun. I nearly shit myself then, made me jump. Prat. Maybe he watches the channel, bless him or her. Whatever. Are these going to do it? No. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and hopefully learnt something and got something from it because that, in my opinion, is an extraordinary piece of local history and, you know, like I say, surely there should be some sort of blue plaque or something there. I mean, a tank trap. A tank trap, it's something that I've never heard of. Certainly not in this neck of the woods anyway, do you know what I mean? Anyway, if you liked if you like that and about seeing me soil my pants with him beeping at me, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Oh, I can't believe it's not nosy. Amazing. Now, I hadn't watched that with you until just. I didn't have a chance to preview that. Quite amazing tank traps. You don't expect them round our neck of the woods. Admittedly, the further south you went, and certainly by rivers and stuff, you tend to get that. God, blimey, but like, as Jennifer said, every day is a school day. Certainly is here at HDPP. Hope you all enjoyed that. Steve, as you've probably seen from his post, he's probably going to do one a month or something like that because he just hasn't got the time to keep going nosying. But the good news is we'll still keep using his noses because we've got a great back catalogue to be able to show you. So don't worry, noses are going nowhere. And then when he does post a new nosy, we'll just put it in from there. Things you learn, says Kath Denny. Amazing things you learn. Anyway, I wonder how many, let's say, a lot of people here. Well, just a minute, I've got it. There it is. Do you like it? It's a good book. Very, very rare. I'm just thinking of something else I can put on this thing, actually. I wonder, yes. See if next, I've got another book coming. We'll see about that soon. Listen, we've been wrestling with this blasted anagram tonight, and really, because I forgot what I'd put in the anagram generator and I didn't write it down, and we are all over the place with it. So we're probably going to let you. We're going to let you, off on the anagram tonight. Daniel Coburn, blimey, that's a big book. It's good, isn't it? Eh? Look. Just go. It's really difficult when I know. There it is. Look, see, there. Anyway, it's there behind this shoulder, but everything's back to front. Hey, look, I can just put my hand on the shelf. Look, there it is. Yes, exactly. And Hunt, you're so mean. Yes, absolutely. But just before we give you the answers to 6 of the best, by the way, and wrapping up tonight, I must just say the staff from the Boundary Hotel were in town on Friday night. So must give them a little wave. They didn't even see last week's programme, by the way, which incidentally seems that they seem to be slipping just lately. But anyway, we'll let them off. So the Boundary Hotel staff were off on a night out in Hinckley. So we managed to catch up with them on Friday evening. Lovely to see them, as always. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to name the place where we went for the simple reason things weren't going very well. We got there, it was very, very busy. Then they hadn't got any Doom Bar, so that was a strike. No Doom Bar, no fish and chips, no lemons. It was just going like that. But in the end, when the food did arrive that we did order was very nice. I think that's a pretty fair assumption. Pretty fair reckoning up of it. But we know where we'll go next time, don't we, Queen Bee? Absolutely we do. Okay, let's go through 6 of the best, give you the answers. And once again, my apologies with the anagram. It is totally my fault. But hey, here we go. So, with the 6 of the best, we start with this one. Right. Okie dokie. Here we have it then. Now then, what year did Captain Shenton hide up his tree on Ashby Road? Let's see who comes through first, Jenny. We'll see. First person in, and let's see how it goes. Yeah. Yes. And Queen Bee, by the way, was saying that she was with the staff from the Boundary Hotel on Sunday too. Well, that was today. Lovely. John Denny comes in with 1646. David Allen, 1666. 1655, says Jan. Anne Hunt, well, you might know he would get it right, don't you? John Denny, 1646. Well done, John. Yep, that's the correct answer, is 1646, when Captain Shenton went up his tree. Anyway, now then, easy one, I think. How many wives of Henry VIII were called Catherine? How many? You see, I didn't even bother doing it. So who's going to come in with the first ones now? How many wives of Henry VIII were called Catherine? David Allen says it was 2. No, it wasn't 2. Jennifer says 3. Jan Kirby says 3. Anne Hunt says 2. No. And even John's put the he's so smug. John Dunnis put 3. Aragon, Parr and Howard. Quite correct, John. Grieves me to say, yes, you've got that right too. If you've got 3, give yourself a point. Well done indeed. It was 3, like I say. It was Catherine of Aragon, Catherine Parr, Catherine Howard. So there we go. Okay, on to our next one. True or false? Now, Windy Cella was the first Disney princess. Is that true? Is it false? Cinderella was the first Disney princess. True or false? That's all I need to know. Don't put anything else in. I just want to know true or false. Oh, smug John Denny again. It's false. It was Snow White. Exactly right. Jennifer Richardson, you're right. David Allen says false. Jan Kirby says false. You've got it right. Well done. Indeed, it was false, of course. Yes, it was Snow White. Snow White is, of course, the original princess. There we go. Now, guess the year. Became compulsory to wear seatbelts in the UK, and Michael Jackson was at number 1 with Billie Jean. What year was it? We're going to find out in a moment, just while I keep talking to see who comes in. I bet you John Denny comes in. Oh, Jennifer Richardson comes in with 1983. Quite correct. Well done. 1983 says Jan Kirby. David Allen 83, Anne Hunt 83, and John Denny 83. Well done. All of you are quite correct. It was 1983. When we all had to wear seatbelts, which was interesting because I learnt to drive with my seatbelt on before the law came in. So it was always force of habit to put my seatbelt on regardless. Carol Beasley, 1972. Are you just dropped into a time warp continuum there? Okay, question number 5. This is easy, and I know John Denny will get this. It's the law. Where in Hinckley am I? Who's going to, what road am I in first? And we'll go from there. Yes, told you John Denny would be straight. Do you know, if he was as keen to write his book as is to answer my questions, we'd have several volumes of that book. Absolutely. Yeah, well done, John. Lancaster Road. John, we remember when you used to come to our social nights. Daniel Coburn says Quick Fit, Tyre Place. Yeah, absolutely right. No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. Well done indeed. Absolutely. And we will never know the answer to Charlton Hyperlink's witcheries. So if you've got it written down, take it away with you. If you happen to crack the anagram, we think Hinckley is in it, and I've got a feeling it might have been a store, but I really honestly can't remember. It's totally gone. And let us know. So there you go. Let's have your totals tonight then. So tonight, David Stanborough says, I only got 3 this time. Never mind, David. I'm sure you'll do more next time. Jennifer Richard, total 4 tonight. Well done, Jennifer. Alan Kropp, Marie 1, Alan 2. Good. 1 for me tonight, says David Allen. Just 2, said Anne Hunt and John Denny with a smug 5. Well done, John. Daniel Coburn, 3 for me. Jan Kirby's got 4. Yes. Queen Bee's just telling us that district nurses had to wear seatbelts several years before, Okay, thank you, Queen Bee. Didn't know that. Paul Glover's got 4 tonight. Russett's got 2. And Queen Bee's got E. I don't know how she does it, but she's got E. Carol Beasley, zilch. Listen, Carol, it doesn't matter. We're looking forward to you coming back to our next social night and stuff. Maybe you and John Denny can come. That'd be a nice novelty too, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Yeah. Jennifer, oh, lovely Jennifer. She said, lovely to be with you all tonight. Well, we all have a bit of fun on a Sunday night. Right, okay then. Oh, here's me looking at that chat screen going by, and you must be fed up of looking at that question. Hopefully you got... If you get the anagram, seriously, let me know, because I would love to know what it is, and we will work on it. It's your homework. If we can get it, we will. But last thing I want is for you all to be lying awake tonight thinking, what that blooming... You have one of them nights, yeah. Jeff Wally says, just 2 for us. Jeff, if you can get it right, if you could put that right, that'd be great, Jeff. Absolutely. And Queen Bee finally says, "I must put my specs on." She did go to Specsavers the other week. I can tell you, she did. Absolutely. It's been a lovely evening. I'm sorry about the anagram, but I feel a little bit. But still. But listen, we'll be back next week at the same time, 7:30, live here on YouTube. And also, Saturday morning, tune my way on FOSS 107, if you would. Because not only will it be me there, we're also opening the new co-op store, down there on the Outer Perimeter Road. So that should be good. Yeah, that should be good. And Jan Kirby finally says, I remember 1983 because Lisa was 3 and in a dance show at the Concordia Theatre, and Michael Jackson was in some of the music there. And Kath saying, great night. Thank you, Paul and Sue. And Daniel Coburn, thank you for a great night, Paul and Sue. Got some homework, yes, this week, absolutely. And hopefully very soon I'll have some good news for you people as well. There's a couple of things bubbling away, which I hope I'll be able to tell you about really, really soon. Okay, take care, and thanks for tuning our way, and we'll see you. Remember to keep it HDPP and to keep it live. Until next Sunday at 7:30, we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Well, what a night that's been. Good grief, I just can't believe I hadn't got the answer to the anagram all done. I'm giving myself a real good stiff talking to about that. This is the part of the programme we never talk about, and who would, to be perfectly honest. It's just where I like to send you off with a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a chortle as we finish Sunday and get ready for our bank holiday Monday. And in this case... one or two little dad jokes. Now, hopefully, you're going to like these. They are from the proverbial book of dad jokes, because I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to, I haven't had a chance to get in a new one. So if you're sitting there ready, here we go. You want to know what sucks? Vacuums. Too easy. Why was the paediatrician always losing his temper? Because he had little patience. Oh dear. So I went into a pet shop and I said, can I buy a goldfish? And the guy said, do you want an aquarium? I said, I don't care what sign it is. Oh, dear. Turns the page. I don't always tell dad jokes, but when I do, he always laughs. Yeah. And what did the little grape do when he got stepped on? He let out a little whine. Nearly there, nearly there. Torturous, I know. What do you call a farmer that doesn't like tractors anymore? An extractor fan. And finally, what do you call a bee that can't make up its mind? A maybe. Oh! And on that, good night. See you next week. Ta-da.